It's 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm riding my bike to the donut shop because it's cheat day. Hi, good morning. Can I have a bacon, egg, and cheese croissant, please? Thank you. Woo, that was fucking delicious. So I want to talk a little bit about why the hell I'm eating all this stuff. I know some of you are like, what's going on? Why are you doing this? So it is currently 9:53 a.m. on Monday morning. I had that first meal already about 5 to 6 hours ago, which doesn't seem like it was that long ago. I haven't had anything since. Here's the thing, can cheat days of unrestricted eating without tracking, without, you know, worrying about macronutrient composition, without worrying about micronutrients, without worrying about caloric intake, without worrying about ketones or any of that, can a cheat day have any benefit possible? And my hypothesis, my opinion, my observation, based off what I've seen, based off, this wasn't like I woke up today and say, oh, I want to have some fucking junk food. No, I've been thinking about this for weeks and slightly looking forward to it as well. But here's the thing, is that I'm trying out these cheat days where I don't restrict at all. And I typically don't restrict, you know, any particular food groups or anything like that. All of you who are subscribed and follow me on Instagram, you know how I eat. I love vegetables. I love chicken liver. I love organ meats. I love lean muscle meats. I eat how I please on a regular basis, which just happens to be pretty healthy food. Now, when I say restrict, I do restrict portion, and I make my foods that I want fit my macronutrient targets. So that is a cognitive restraint, right? That is some sort of restriction, although I'm not restricting specific foods. Now, I do avoid, on a regular basis, I do avoid processed foods for the most part. I do avoid the junk foods. I do avoid the, you know, vegetable oils and the fried foods. I definitely don't eat any of that, but I might have some today. And that's the point, is I'm gonna eat. And that's when my camera died. So let's continue that conversation here at home. I was gonna go to Coco's, but I came home instead. I had a protein bar with some of this Rocky Road candy and some jungle peanuts. I'm showing you a picture here. Came home so I could charge all my equipment, and then in about 30 minutes or so, I'm gonna go to Coco's and have that meal, and I'll show you what I have for the rest of the day. But I'm just going to eat basically whatever I want. And here's the key, is that yesterday I didn't do anything different. Tomorrow, I'm not gonna do anything different. I'm not gonna restrict myself tomorrow. I'm not gonna go into a 72-hour fast. I'm not gonna do any, you know, hacks or anything like that, because there's no need to. That creates a cycle, a negative cycle of binging and restricting, and that's not the point here. The point here is pure fun and experimentation. I just want to see if there are any repercussions to doing such a large overfeed like this. Now, I don't think there will be. As a matter of fact, I think there will be benefits, like I said, mainly psychological, but as well as physiological. And I'm already experiencing that today, where I'm thinking, oh, that would be nice to have. I can have it. That's fantastic. I don't care if it's gonna fit my macros or not, because that doesn't apply to today. So it's this psychological, you know, this cognitive let go. It's refreshing, right? To have that every once in a while. Now, granted, it is only, I don't know if you can see the time there, but it's only 12 p.m. It's only noon. And So far, so good. I mean, later I might be like, fuck this is too much food, I don't like it.
I need a nap and I'm too full. That's it.
Now, my main inspirations for this are two people, Stephanie Buttermore as well as Tim Ferriss. Most of you are familiar with Tim Ferriss and the 4-Hour Body. I have the book, and in there he talks about the slow carb diet. And part of Tim Ferriss's slow carb diet program is that it's required on Saturdays, which he calls fatter days, or whatever day of the week you choose. You just have a cheat day. You completely, the whole day, eat whatever you want. And he even recommends, at least for himself, eating to the point of discomfort. Now, I'm not going that far, but he says just go all out to the point where you left nothing on the table. The 4-Hour Body, page 75, rule number 5 for the slow carb diet. I recommend Saturdays as your dieter's gone wild day. I am allowed to eat whatever I want on Saturdays, and I go out of my way to eat ice cream, Snickers, Take 5, and all of my other vices in excess. I make myself a little sick each Saturday and don't want to look at any junk for the rest of the week. Paradoxically, dramatically spiking caloric intake in this way once per week increases fat loss by ensuring that your metabolic rate, thyroid function, and conversion of T4 to T3, etc., doesn't downshift from extended caloric restrictions. That's right, eating pure crap can help you lose fat. Welcome to utopia. There are no limits or boundaries during this day of gluttonous enjoyment. There's absolutely no calorie counting on this diet, on this day, or any other. And then if we turn to another section here that I have highlighted as a question from frequently answered questions, do I really have to binge once per week? It is important to spike caloric intake once per week. This causes a host of hormonal changes that improve fat loss, from increasing cAMP and GMP to improving conversion of the T4 thyroid hormone to the more active T3. Everyone binges eventually on a diet, and it's better to schedule it ahead of time and limit the damage. The psychological benefits outweigh even the hormonal and metabolic benefits. I eat like this all the time and have been for 7 years. And then Stephanie Buttermore is a scientist. She has a PhD, but she's also, a fitfluencer. And if you look her up, I'll leave her channel in the description. She has a lot of, cheat day videos and talks about actually the science behind these big refeed days and what actually happens to your body composition, to blood markers and things like that after a big cheat day, including junk food like this. Her and Tim just saying just one day every once in a while, just go all out and enjoy and see what happens for you. That was my inspiration. I've realized how important this message really is, because it's good to know that you can have amazing cheat days planned consciously, right? And know that it's not going to make you obese. It's not going to make you fat. It's not going to make you a glutton. It's not going to give you a disease. It's not going to give you a heart attack. Just if you have, 95% of the time a fairly healthy, relatively healthy plan where you're eating good, healthy, nutrient-dense foods, you keep your weight in check, your sleep is good, your relationship's good, your stress is good, what's the problem? As long as we don't eat in a surplus every single day, and as long as we don't eat junk foods every single day, remember, it's the habits, it's the lifestyle that make the difference. It's what you do every day that makes a difference. As long as we're not doing that, we're fine. I want to take this moment to define the differences between binge eating and a cheat day, because they are some clear differences. I like the definition of a cheat day from Stephanie Buttermore that goes as follows. Ad libitum food intake for 16 to 24 hours, I would say one wake cycle, while maintaining control of food intake and not driven by a negative emotion or used to offset a negative emotion. Binge eating, on the other hand, is described in the scientific literature as an increase in caloric intake in a short time window, where the person will often eat to offset a negative emotion, anxiety, or stress. There's also a lack of control during the binge, a feeling that one cannot stop eating or control what or how much one is eating. There are also 5 clear-cut actions that help us define a binge. Number 1, eating much more rapidly than normal. Number 2, eating until feeling uncomfortably full or sick. Number 3, eating large amounts of food when not feeling physically hungry. Number 4, eating alone because of being embarrassed of how much they are eating. Number 5, feeling disgusted with oneself, depressed, or very guilty after overeating. Clear differences there. Obviously, this is not a binge episode. I'm not embarrassed. I'm not
lacking control. I'm sharing it here publicly on the internet, and I am not recommending or endorsing that. If someone is suffering or dealing with some binge eating episodes, that is more of a mental, psychological thing. I am not here to discuss that. I am not here to advise on that at all. This is simply pure ad libitum food intake for 1 week cycle in the terms of a cheat day where I have complete control over this and I'm stopping when I want to stop.
Okay, we are officially on the GoPro cam. We're on our way to Coco's right now, and in a very tight nutshell, everything is individual, everything is contextual. What's the context of the person? Have they been dieting? You know, what's their relationship with food? What's their lifestyle and what are their habits on a regular basis? I'm not recommending this and saying this. I'm just saying that for people who got things in check and want to let loose every once in a while, don't fucking trip. That's basically my point. And I want to briefly go over what I did this morning. I woke up at my usual time at 4 a.m. If you want to see how I trained myself to wake up at 4 a.m. very easily every single day, I have a video on that. It's on my channel. I'll leave a link in the description. I woke up, I had my big glass of water. I had my herbal coffee that was actually decaf. I did that with some lion's mane, cordyceps, some Shilajit, just some things that I love having every day. Shilajit is great. Surprisingly, I was reading some studies the other week, multiple studies showing that Shilajit increasing fertility and sperm quality and sperm quantity in males, as well as boosting testosterone, which is pretty cool for this mineral fulvic acid supplement. So I had that. I did my morning routine, which you saw. I weighed myself before any of that though, which I do every morning. So you saw my current weight. I'm also going to weigh in tomorrow morning and then the next morning, but which I usually do, but I'm going to document that for you. And I'm going to show you my weight after this cheat day every single day following post cheat day up until Saturday, which is when I have to edit everything and get it ready for upload. So you're going to see my weight. You're going to see, I'm going to share with you how I feel and really any negative or positive effects that I see from this. And for my workouts, I currently follow a workout program from Lane Norton on biolane.com. I'm following one of his custom programs for me. Well, it's a program that I customized for me, and I just followed that. If you noticed, I didn't do the trap bar deadlifts just because I went pretty, I went not hard, but I did some extra sets of regular deadlifts because I had a lot of warm-ups. I wasn't sure what I wanted my working sets to be, and I was just really fucking tired. But I put that croissant and those donuts to work. I used that as my pre-workout meal. I also made a homemade pre-workout, which you saw, which consisted of 6 grams of L-citrulline, 5 grams of glutamine, about 4 or 5 grams of beta-alanine inside some lemonade that I usually make with just lemons and stevia. And so I did that, went to go work out, went home, had the protein bar, the Rocky Road treat candy thing, and now I'm on my way to Coco's. It's 12:30. I've only had that one meal this morning from the donut shop. That was my, then I went home and had the other half. That was my only meal. That was at like 5 a.m. So, that was like 6-7 hours ago. Surprisingly, I thought I would be balls deep in some food right now. I thought I had consumed way much more food by 12:30 than I actually am. Leading up to this day, I just imagined, oh my God, I'm gonna eat all of this shit. I'm gonna eat fucking everything. I'm gonna eat this, and that. I have a list on notes on my iPhone on what foods I wanted to eat. And like, now that it's here, it's like, oh, well, I don't know. I don't know if I really want that. And I think that's because I was dieting. I'm a few months into a diet. Like when I'm dieting, when we're restricting, when we're counting macros or watching our carbohydrate intake or whatever, we want these things. I passed Coco's. I'm talking too much. Oh shit. All right. I'm just gonna stop talking because I'm rambling, and I'll see you guys when we get to Coco's.
I think the benefits of some sort of cheat day or refeed day during a dieting phase or restriction phase are similar or would overlap to those that we would find during a strategic refeed, such as help mitigate negative effects of dieting in terms of hormones, especially for women, refeeds can transiently reverse many of the negative effects that happen from dieting for extended periods of time. Increased carbohydrate intake can increase leptin, which is a good thing, as well as the conversion of inactive to active thyroid hormone, similar to what Tim Ferriss was talking about. Cortisol will also decrease, reducing the problems associated with chronic overactivation of the stress system. For those familiar with the Bulletproof Diet that I've talked about a long time ago on my channel, you know that there's a recommended carb refeed, especially for women, 1 to 2 times per week. There are some metabolic and hormonal benefits associated with increased caloric intake. That's why diet breaks are becoming more and more popular and are being implemented more for those who are wanting to lose weight or to diet. Now, a cheat day isn't necessary for all of those benefits. That's a solid argument. But you can simply just eat at maintenance or do a diet break for about a week. But with a cheat day, you're also satisfying any psychological stresses from dieting or food restriction. You get the mental benefit as well, which for some can actually improve adherence for the remainder of their diet for every day other than the cheat day. For example, in the slow carb diet, that's why one reason why Tim Ferriss recommends it is because you have one cheat day where you get to eat whatever you want. So for the rest of the week, you're going to be more compliant with your diet, with your regular eating protocol.
Okay, so we just got to Coco's, and I gotta say really quick, I'm actually enjoying this kind of vlog style of content creation. I've never done it before, and I'm enjoying just kind of talking to the camera throughout the day instead of having to spew out all my thoughts within, I try to aim for 15 minutes, but most of my videos are like 20 minutes. So I'm liking this. If you are, please let me know down below, and I might, start introducing more vlog style videos, more lifestyle things to show you really, how I do shit. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts down below. I would much appreciate it.
If I could start with just a side of biscuits and gravy, that'd be great. And then for the main, I'll do lumberjack breakfast.
How you want it?
I'll do scrambled, please. Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
Biscuits and gravy.
Thank you so much.
So it is currently 3:20. I finished my Coco's meal at about 1:20, which was exactly 2 hours ago, and I'm still pretty full. I'm experiencing the problem that I figured I would experience, which is it's too much food. I'm too full for me to enjoy all the food that I wanted to enjoy or was anticipating to enjoy. But it's been a couple hours. I haven't had anything after that, and I'm back home right now, but I'm about to go have dinner with my girlfriend and my daughter. We're gonna go get some barbecue, kind of a late Mother's Day dinner, so you're gonna see what I'm gonna eat there. Obviously, I'm gonna go all out and eat whatever I want, of course, and I'm feeling pretty good so far. My energy levels have been through the roof, basically. It's interesting. They're higher than normal, but that makes sense because when you have a higher caloric intake, your body compensates for that and it wants to burn off that energy, and in essence, your metabolism goes up pretty rapidly. Even your resting metabolic rate can adapt pretty rapidly, and your body wants you to expend more energy. So you fidget more, you want to walk more, you want to exercise more, and I'm finding that to be the case. I'm just getting a lot of stuff done as well in between meals and such. So I'll see you on the way to the last meal. Try it. Let me know how you like it.
Okay. I don't really like it, but I think you guys will like it.
Yeah.
Peach lemonade. Cheers.
Okay, what can I get for you?
Barbecue tri-tip sandwich.
Okay, and for your one side?
Mac and cheese.
You got it, absolutely.
Okay. We're off to a good start.
They go.
Pretty good.
It is 5:48. I'm back at the house. I literally took that bite of that sandwich and was done. I called it quits. I had a small bite of the macaroni. Honestly, I was just way too full. I got to that point where I didn't want any more. I went to the restroom, dropped a big old fat one, and I was done. I didn't even pay for that meal because honestly, I didn't even really like it. The meat was really dry, and they kind of noticed that as well. And so I didn't pay for it. That's kind of key, is control. So that goes back to the differences between binging and just having a cheat day and allowing yourself to eat what you want in a controlled, conscious manner, where I got to the point where, okay, I'm full, I'm done. I had the whole meal right there and I didn't force it down. I stopped myself from eating and kind of realized, you know what, if worse comes to worse, I'll just take it home and have it another day. Or I wasted $15 for the meal, like big deal, right? But I'm back home, it's 6 o'clock. Honestly, I think I'm gonna call it quits, but I'm facing one of the biggest problems that could happen from an unrestricted cheat day. One of the biggest issues, one of the worst things that could happen is that you have a food that you absolutely been dying to eat and you're too full to eat it. And that's kind of the case right now with the coconut cream pie from Coco's. That was the most thing I've been waiting for. It's sitting there in the fridge. So it's 5:48 right now, almost 6 o'clock. The latest I'm down to eat is like 7. So in an hour, if in another hour, I really don't feel like eating, I'm not, and I'll just save it for next time. But let's see how the night progresses. So it's been a few days later, and I want to recap with you what happened to me, my weight, how I felt, and also share with you my main intention for this video, which is actually what I want to start with. See, I feel like people in our community, a handful of people, have a fear of food and often over restrict because of all these crazy things that we hear out there. Plants are going to kill you, meat's going to kill you, you need to follow this diet, you need to do this. And there's so much rigidity, there's so much strictness with a lot of the diet programs out there. And part of my intention with this is not to shine a light on eating junk food or donuts or anything like that. It's to share that even if you do have a very high calorie day or a very high processed food day, that it's not the end of the world, that it's not going to kill you. It's okay, and it's going to be okay as long as you use it as a once in a while tool to let loose for the day, to have that enjoyment, to maybe you plan it for a vacation or you plan it for an event or you plan it for your birthday, that it's going to be okay. See, as long as 95% of the time you're eating a healthy diet that you can adhere to, that you like, that's full of nutrient dense foods, you're sleeping well, you have a regular exercise program, you're moving daily, you have good relationships, you manage your stress and all that, it's okay to have every once in a while these days where you just kind of let loose and enjoy the foods that maybe bring you a nostalgic feeling that you used to eat when you were a kid. That's why I had that bacon, egg, and cheese croissant, because in high school, at the end of the day, me and my best friend, maybe once a week or twice a week or so, we would go to this donut shop and get that exact sandwich, and it just brings back these memories of high school and this and that. So it's okay to have that every once in a while. That's my point here. I'm not recommending, I'm not suggesting you go out and eat donuts. It doesn't have to be junk food on your cheat day. I'm just doing that to prove a point that it's gonna be okay. So my weigh-in on the day of the cheat day was 162 pounds. As you saw, 162.6 pounds with 14.8% body fat according to my scale. Now the next day, post cheat day, 167.2 pounds. 167.2 at 15.6% body fat. So I only went up roughly about 5 pounds, which isn't much. For the amount of food that I ate, I thought it would be up a lot higher. Now the next day, 168.2. So I went up again another pound, even though I stayed on track the next day at 15.7% body fat. So here's the thing though, look at the next day. This is third day post cheat day, 165.6. There was a decrease in 3 pounds from the 15th to the 16th. So my weight's going down. And then on 5/17, the next day, this is 4 days post cheat day, 164.6 at 15.3% body fat. Now, what's really interesting is that the day before my last weigh-in here, before weighing in at 164, I actually didn't even stay on track that day. I went in a surplus again that day. It wasn't a cheat day. I was on track the most days. Just at dinner, I did go a little bit extra because I had some dinner with friends. And I still went down a pound the next day. And so there's a lot of jumps here. And this is exactly what's expected after a high calorie or after a cheat day, is your weight's going to fluctuate and it's going to go up, obviously. And I want to share with you the 3 main reasons why the scale does go up, because it's not all fat. Number one reason why the scale goes up the next day is because, yes, some fat gain, but not as much as you would expect. Maybe a quarter to maybe half a pound of all this is actually fat for most people. Second reason the scale on the number on the scale goes up the next day and for the days following is food volume. You still have all that food in your stomach and in your GI. That's the majority of the reason. I'm sorry, that's not the majority of the reason, but that does add a significant amount of weight to the scale. You have all that food in your stomach. You need to poop it out at some point. It hasn't all come out yet. You're still digesting a lot of it if you ate a lot. So that's another reason. Third reason, this is the biggest reason why the scale goes up, is water retention. What increases water retention? Big spikes in sodium and big spikes in carbohydrate. And if you're having a cheat day, you're often eating a lot of salty foods, and a lot of carbohydrate-rich foods. So when you have a big spike in sodium or carbohydrate, in the context of this video, you retain a lot of water. Now, there's other things that can make you retain water, such as stress, cortisol, for women, your menstrual cycles, but you can store 3 to 4 grams of water per gram of stored carbohydrate. So if you have a big spike of carbs, per gram, you can be storing 3 to 4 grams of water. So you can see how that adds up. That's the majority of the weight increase the next few days. And the thing is, though, is that it will eventually be filtered out with the help of your kidneys over the next following days. That is a big reason why the scale goes up, why the weight fluctuates. It's completely normal. It's going to go back down. And just to recap how I'm assessing this cheat day for me in my life, Tim Ferriss says, do it every week. I don't think I need to do that. And to be honest, I don't think I need to do a whole cheat day. For me, when I eat at libitum, when I eat until I'm satisfied, it's a lot of food. So for example, for breakfast, the donut shop, I had a lot of food and I was too full to finish my lunch. Right? At Coco's, you saw me only eat half of everything. Only had half of the French toast, half the biscuits and gravy, half the plate of food. And then it continued, because then you saw at dinner, I only had 1 bite of my burger. I think that it's just too much food for me. I guess my appetite isn't as big as I thought it would be. So for me, I think maybe every 2-3 weeks, if I had just one cheat meal, just had a really big dinner and dessert, I think that would be optimal for me, just psychologically, and I'd be able to enjoy it more because I wouldn't be overstuffing myself. I would actually be able to eat the food and, not have to waste most of it. So yes, there are proven benefits to increasing caloric intake, and there are some psychological benefits for some mental benefits to just not tracking for a day and just enjoying and not worrying about the food composition. So I hope I brought you value with this video. I hope you see my perspective from it and you see it with open eyes. It's not about the junk food. I'm just using that to prove a point. It's about the don't trip. Enjoy yourself. It's life. Balance, people. Balance. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet. If you enjoyed this specific style of video, please let me know in a comment down below. I'd love to do more styles of content like this. I appreciate you guys. I love you. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in next week's video.